Hello, my name is Pankaj. Today we are going to talk about GCP Cloud Storage Service. In any cloud platform, the cloud storage is one of the important service. For example, when the enterprise tries to move from their on-prem to the cloud, the first service they will be exploring in most of the cases is the cloud storage. Because for example, to do their proof of concept, the POCs, right, they need to bring their on-prem data to the cloud, the backups so that they can spin up some compute instances on the GCP. So this is one of the service which is most widely used in the cloud platform, and it is one of the very important service. So let's go and talk about in more detail what different type of the classes are available in the storage, and what are the use cases, and what are the transfer services is available from on-prem to the cloud or from cloud to cloud. So let's get started. So there are four type of storage class: standard, nearline, and the Coldline archive. The standard is very good. Like for example, you have the content which is accessing very frequently. So the use case might be like a website or some streaming videos. Nearline storage is where you have the access once a month. The use case for this one is the data backup or long multimedia content if you want to store, and it's going to be accessed once a month. The third storage type is Coldline Storage. It's a very low cost, and the use case for this one is, for example, mostly for storing the disaster recovery data, which is there is chances it might get access once in a quarter. And the fourth storage is archive storage. From the name, it says like it's mainly used for regulatory archival, right? Because that is been very rarely used. So those archival you can be stored into the archive storage, and the access once a year, and it's very the lowest cost storage class available in the GCP. So now let's talk about the data transfer options available in GCP. If you have the some data on another cloud provider, like for example Amazon or the Microsoft Azure, uh, for that one you can use the storage transfer service. The same product, you can use it for transferring from the uh, two different bucket within the GCP. There is if you want to transfer the data from your on premises to the Google Cloud, there are the three different options are available. So the one is the GS utility. It is the command line utility, but before you use it, you have to make sure you have the enough bandwidth to do this the data transfer, especially if the file is going to be very big. For small files, for GBs and all these things, it's work perfectly fine. uh, the another options available for on-prem to the GCP is storage transfer service for on-premises data. So what basically this does is like it install the one agent. We need to install one agent on the on-prem. So that's how the connectivity is been maintained between the on-prem and the GCP, and the data transfer happen over the agent in a secured way. The third options is if you have the a very big data like 10 terabytes, 15 terabyte of data, then in that case the Google has an option where they send you the transfer appliance device to your data center. Then your data center people need to copy the data into this transfer appliance, and it will be sent back to the GCP, and then they will upload those data within the bucket which we created, and it will be encrypted data managed by our key. So now let's get and to just walk you through this the console to uh, show you whatever we discussed until now. So here if you see, I am currently logged into the GCP. This is my GCP console URL. If you don't have the access to the GCP, and if you want to create your own free account, like I have created another video, so I will just put a link in the description in case if you need to know. So if you're already having the account, so then let's get started. So all the storage is appear under here. So for example, if I this is a pin icon, if you always want to appear here on the top, you can do this, click on the pin, so it will pin in the top range always, so it will be available, so you don't have to scroll down that big. So now I am in a storage browser. Currently I don't have any bucket created, so let's get try to create the bucket. So once you create a bucket here, so here the bucket name need to be the unique. It cannot be the duplicate bucket. It has to be globally unique across the GCP. So let me create bucket, and once we create a bucket, then you have to go and select what the region where you want to store your content. So while selecting this location type, you have to make sure like you're selecting the regions or the dual locations, it belong in to the your near place from where the user will be accessing it for a low latency. If you have the like very critical data and if you want to be HA and across the larger area, so then in that case you can select this multi-region. So all this price variation, if you see here on the monthly calculator, these price variations, it will vary based upon what are the options you are selecting here. Just to show you, so now it's become for multi-region it's become 26, for region is like so the next thing we'll be doing is like we have to go and select what class of the bucket which you need to have. So these are the 4 classes we already spoke about, so I'll not go into more detail. And then based on this one you can just go and create your bucket. So once the bucket is created, you can always you can upload the file here, and then those file will be available for you to access it. There are these retention period you can define for like how long you want to. If you have the scenario where every after like if in this particular bucket, because this bucket when we created we selected the standard class, right? So after 30 days if you think like no one is going to access this particular file, so you can set up here a life cycle role saying okay, every after like after the from the file which are older than 30 days, you can move it to the archive bucket. So that will reduce your the cost, because the archive bucket is the cheapest bucket in GCP, and this is at a very high level about the storage. Now let's go through the what are the transfer services available. So we spoke about this the transfer service in the cloud. There are the 3 things like one from Amazon S3 bucket you can transfer, the Microsoft Azure, or let's say suppose if you have the another Google Cloud storage bucket, so from there to your this new bucket you can um, set up the data transfer, so those data will be in the sync. The another option is, for example, if you want to do this data transfer from on-prem to this GCP, there is an option where you can go and set up your connection between your GCP and on-prem. So for that, for doing that setup, you need to download the agent and then install that agent on your machine. So currently this agent is only available for the Linux type of OS. So you'll be able to use it only on that one. And then here you have to just go and set up this configuration, and also you have to set up like how much bandwidth actually you want to dedicate it for that particular connection. Let's say suppose if your bandwidth is, let's say suppose it is like a 100 megabyte, right? If you don't specify this bandwidth, then it will always use the 100 megabyte if you're transferring the big file, and that may create a issue for other particular use cases if there are some data transfer is happening. So it is always better to specify the like how much is the bandwidth you want to use by these particular connections. Then the third, for transferring from on premises to the GCP, if you are having the big data, terabytes of data, petabyte of data. So for that one, here you can come and request the appliance. So what this one, like once you submit this appliance, the Google will send you this entire data into this device, and then send that device back to the GCP. And when the GCP received those device, they will copy that data into the bucket which we specified, for which we have given them the key, encryption key. So that is how you can do the data transfer by using these services. So this is what actually I wanted to cover, guys, and probably like I'll be coming up with more videos on this one, like how you can do this setup. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and if you have any question, you can always ask me. And this is the specially channel I created just for us to you can learn cloud together. So thanks again for your time.